What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. So of course, as I mentioned on my previous video, there will be a part 2 for our QR code app. But for part 2, it's basically focusing more on the PDF file itself, on how do we generate the PDF file receipt. So every time when we have a transaction that's closed, but we will dive deep into the PDF part itself so that we will understand how do we want the file to be generated and how do we view the receipt that's being generated within Appsheet. So without doing that, by default, you will have to go back to your Google Drive, and then back to Appsheet. So it's a bit troublesome. So this is the method that you may want to try out that enables you to open up your PDF file within the app itself. So without further ado, let's check it out. All right, guys. So again, welcome to part 2 of our QR code app. And basically for this episode, we won't run through much, not as lengthy as part 1, but I just want to highlight to you guys the sort of what we call the PDF setup. How do we set up our PDF? So as you can see in my app, there is a automation that I've created, which is to generate the PDF, and the trigger is once the transaction is closed. Again, this is just the name of the event. But if I were to click here in the event itself, so of course the event type that I'm using at the moment is for data change. Of course, selectively you can use for updates only, but again, it won't kill if I were just to use all changes. Now, the table that I'm using to monitor the trigger, monitor the trigger, which is the transactions table. And the condition that I'm setting up for the QR code to sort of generate the PDF receipt is when the status is equivalent to closed. All right. So once the transaction that I've created has the status of close, then it will generate the PDF. Now this is very straightforward. To generate your PDF, again, ensure that you have this create a new file selected. And of course, we are using the table name, the same table name, which is the transactions. And the HTTP content type is PDF. Although there's a few other selections that you can use, such as CSV, HTML, JSON, Excel, or calendar, but in our case, we are using PDF. And here you will see the template that you can use to sort of format your PDF. So I'm just gonna jump in for a quick one. Here you can set up your template. So of course, for my case, just a simple one, not really putting any design in mind. So I just put a logo here. Of course, if you want to add any images and all that, you can just go on insert image and you can upload from your computer. So, but the thing that I want to highlight is the data that you want to display in your PDF. By default, on your first time creating your template, you will see all of the table columns included. So I've removed some of them. But the highlight of this segment, is I want to show you that there is this expression here, which is the start. All right. Start related items This is the, if you refer back to my part 1 video, related items is the virtual column that I've created. All right. So automatically this is included, but I just want to show you how it works. So when you have start related items, so it will start to list down all the items that's related to the transaction ID. Okay. And of course, once it lists down all of the items related to the transaction ID, it's printing out the item name, the quantity, the price, and then it ends the expression here. Okay. And of course, I have the total amount here. And this is the virtual column as well in my transaction table. So for any of you who is actually looking at this video without part 1, you can actually sort of just follow through. But those who follow part 1, this is basically how you would want your receipt to display. But it can be any design that you like. All right. So that's enough for the template. If you have any questions, do let me know in the comment section down below. Now, what's important is the folder path. Okay. So I have my custom folder path, which is /receipt, and the file name prefix. Of course, I want the receipt generated using the transaction ID, so that it's easier to find. And there is another thing that I want to make sure this is selected, which is the disable timestamp. Now, the reason why I have this enable is because I don't want to have multiple receipt for the same transaction ID. But what I want to have is a new, if there is an update to my receipt, say for example, there is a change to your items, or there's a last minute addition or last minute removal. Once you save that transaction, it will override the previous transaction or receipt that you have generated. That's why we disable the timestamp, because we don't want it to be duplicating endlessly for any changes that you do in your table. All right. So of course, the size you can actually change, and if you were to use an attachment for your email or whatsoever. And that is more or less the settings that I did for my PDF generation. But let's look deeper into how do we ensure that when we create the PDF file as shown, I can actually view the file here. All right. So it means I can open up my PDF or receipt file from Appsheet. So when I click here, of course, I can see the receipt displayed here instead of going from the Google Drive file itself. So how to do this is, of course, in my transactions table, I have this receipt file virtual column. Okay. And I have the formula that I'm using, which is the concatenate. And if you remember the custom path that I did in the PDF automation, which is receipt, and transaction ID, which is the file, since we have set the prefix for the PDF file to be using the transaction ID .pdf. But again, doing this, there's a few things that you want to check, which is the file path, where the PDF is generated, and where is your spreadsheet. So these two things that you want to check is something very important, because if not, you will have uh, difficulties or challenges or maybe errors when you have the path not in the right place. All right, guys, I'm just going to simplify it for you. Your spreadsheet must be in the same folder as your PDF file that's been generated. Okay. What I mean to say is it has to be within the same folder. And if, say, the PDF is in any subfolder within that same folder, it should be fine. But if your spreadsheet is in a different folder and your PDF is in another folder, a separate folder completely, then this won't work at all. You receive errors, error messages, can't open up, just a blank screen, all that sort of issues will happen. So of course, I'm just going to run it again to show you how do we address that. How do we ensure that doesn't happen, and so that it works smoothly for you. So not to worry. Let's go back to the video. So now when we talk about path, this is the spreadsheet that I'm using for my app, which is the one that we have covered in part 1. But what you'll see is the folder that I created is within the same folder, because in receipt, this is where all the receipts that I've generated. Okay. So you can see all the receipts are with the respective transaction ID. But what I want to actually highlight is the both folders and spreadsheet is in the same folder. So that's a must. You cannot have your spreadsheet in a different folder with alongside with your PDF. Both of them must be in the same folder. In my case, it's barcode scanner. Okay. If you have your PDF file in a different folder and your spreadsheet in another, it won't work. So of course, by default, when you create an app, usually what it does is it will bring your app folder to Appsheet data, and you can see there is multiple apps created. So this is actually automatically created for you. And my spreadsheet is not in this file. So that's why initially, if I were to use this method, it wouldn't work. So you must make sure, if say you want to move back to your custom folder, all you need to do is in Appsheet, go to settings. Okay. And in information, if you scroll down, you will see the default app folder. Okay. So by default, it should be Appsheet/data. If not mistaken, I think that's the path, and slash with your app name. So I removed that and I'm using the custom folder path. Okay. So how to know what sort of path to use is simple. If you go back to your Google Drive, okay, in my drive, this is what we call the root folder. Okay, so we have all this is basically the main folder of your Google Drive, and you'll see there is a lot of subfolders, and you can see my barcode scanner app folder is here. That is why it starts with slash. It's because we don't have to define the root folder at all. So basically that's the reason why it has to be in slash barcode scanner for my case. So when you do that, and back to my PDF robot, I added the receipt after the file folder path, okay, is because every time it generates a PDF, it will store in a new subfolder in barcode scanner. Okay, because how to read this is very simple. If I leave this empty, okay, if I leave this empty like this, so by default it will save in the main path in barcode scanner, but I don't want it to be in that manner or fashion so that it won't get so cluttered. So that's why I add receipt, and because of that, there is a subfolder called receipt created here, and all of the PDF files created will be stored in one single folder. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for your time. Do let me know what else you want to see in the comment section down below. And just to inform that I'll be starting to do more. I'm introducing a new series, which is the Looker Studio series, which is formerly known as Google Data Studio, since there is a demand in that, and of course it's fun to use. So stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, do subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.